You got to let your spirit take control.
Dear human, you've got it all wrong. You didn't come here to master unconditional love. This is where you came from and where you'll return. You came here to learn personal love, universal love, messy love, sweaty love, crazy love, broken love, whole love, infused with divinity, lived through the grace of stumbling, demonstrated through the beauty of messing up, often. You didn't come here to be perfect. You already are. You came here to be gorgeously human, flawed and fabulous, and rising again into remembering.
All right, no name, but it says jar card, Spiritual Soul Center, Desiderata. You know some of this. This is the last section of that quote by Max Ehrman. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be or her, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. So be cheerful and strive to be happy. Yeah. Right? Yeah. There's a theme today. There was a theme today in all of this, and the soul song is a great introduction to it. Well, Jimmy Carter died on December 29th. He was our 39th president. He served from 1977 to 1981. In 2002, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. He is being eulogized and has been eulogized this past week by many, many people. He would tell you, I believe, with that big toothy grin, that he is not a perfect human. And he was not a perfect president. But he did have a credo by which he lived. He had a formula for his life. And I think it is contained in this quote. He said this: "My faith demands that I do whatever I can, wherever I am, wherever I can, for as long as I can, with whatever I have, to try to make a difference." That was Jimmy Carter's credo, I believe. His faith, he said, demanded that he make a difference. And many of us, even if we weren't alive or were small children during his presidency — I was not that small — we know him from the press coverage every once in a while, a picture of him and Rosalind building a house for Habitat for Humanity. Seeing the tool belt and the apron, and seeing him with his hat on, and Rosalind as well, seeing him do that. Maybe some of us are familiar with him from the 32 books that he authored. 32 books. Every one of them bestsellers, by the way. So if you haven't had one, check out the library. So what is he talking about here, though? What does he mean? What is faith? What is faith? And what does it really mean to practice faith? That's what, when I read this quote, I thought, as I do often, and I encourage you to do as well, what does that mean to me? Because that is his life, but what is he modeling? What could it possibly mean? And to me, right off, I thought this. I thought, what does life demand of me? Not maybe what my faith demands, although maybe so, but what does this life, what does being alive in this moment, what does it demand of me? Oftentimes we think about, what am I going to get out of life? But Carter's perspective was, what does my life demand of me? This chance that I'm given. Mary Oliver would say this one wild and precious life. What does it demand of me? That's the question I was thinking about this week. Every day, in all moments, with everybody, if you're to believe Carter's statement. Well, what is faith? The definition that I use of faith is our ability to believe in the unseen. Our ability to sense something much greater than ourselves. That ability we have to know without any proof at all. I don't believe there's any church or synagogue or place of worship that can tell you for sure what's going to happen when you die, for instance. Or that there is or isn't a God. But what is the sense that you have of that? That's where faith comes in, because there is no proof. There is no 1, 2, 3. There isn't that. And I think it's even beyond this idea that we can sense a truth that we don't have proof for, and that is that faith is a powerful thing. If we're to believe the Christian scriptures, the faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. What does that really mean? Well, I don't know. I don't know about moving mountains, and maybe it is possible. I always think you move a mountain pretty much one wheelbarrow at a time. The mountains in my life. But it's this sense. What is this trying to tell me? Well, this led me to think about another person who wrote about life and what it meant to them. And that's Ziggy Marley. Ziggy Marley put it this way: love is my religion. Right? Y'all know that one, right? Love is my religion. You're always singing that. Maybe you do that one. Like he wrote this song. He wrote this, love is my religion. Some people say, yeah, love is my religion. Well, what's that look like? What's that look like? But here's the verse. Here's the first verse. It said, love is my religion. I'll take you to the temple tonight. All my days I've been searching to find out what this life is worth. Through the books and the Bibles of time, I've made up my mind. I don't condemn, I don't convert. This is the calling, have you heard? Bring all the lovers into the fold, because no one is going to lose their soul. Love is my religion. Ziggy Marley, he's pretty clear, to my way of thinking, of what life is demanding of him. Life is demanding of him love in this way, where I don't condemn anybody. I don't try to convert anybody to the way I'm thinking. Just bring everybody in, because nobody is bad. Nobody's going to lose their soul. No one. That's what it's saying to me. What does your religion, what does your God, what does your life call you? What does it demand from you? That's the question for me and for you. What does it demand from you? Listen to another verse he wrote. Well, I'm done searching now. I found out what life's worth. Not in the books that I find, but in searching my mind. I don't condemn. I don't convert. This is the calling, have you heard? Bring all the lovers to the fold. No one is going to lose their soul. There it is. We know the tune, man. Did we ever listen to the words? The words? He's telling us what life demands of him. What he believes his life demands of him is to love. This conscious effort. Not just willy-nilly and not just, I think I need to stop just rolling with life and make these conscious decisions. Like, what do I believe about God? What do I believe about the creative energy in the universe, the cosmic pulse of life? Whatever your name for it is, what do I believe about that? And what is that demanding of me? Because I have this one precious life here, now. What is it demanding of me? What is it demanding of me? This is the way my week kind of goes. I did have a good week. I have a good week. And I pulled out Khalil Gibran, the prophet. And I've told you the story before. He's getting ready to leave the community at Orphalese. And different people are asking him about different topics. And he's covering a wide range of topics by the time he gets toward the end of this book. Everything from marriage and children and freedom and work and houses and clothes and laws and reason and passion and pain and all these things he's talked about. And the second to the last topic is this topic right before he talks about death. He talks about this. An old priest asked him to speak on religion. And he says, "Have I spoken this day of anything else? Is not religion all deeds and all reflection? And that which is neither deed nor reflection, but a wonder and a surprise ever springing in the soul, even while the hands hew the stone and tend the loom." In other words, even while I work. Who can separate his faith from his actions, or his belief from his occupation? Who can spread his hours before himself and say, this is for God and this is for myself? This is for my soul and the other for my body. Interesting, isn't it? He says, your daily life is your temple and your religion. Whenever you enter into it, take you with you your all, your full self. Take the plow and the forge and the mallet and the lute, the things you have fashioned in necessity or for delight. And if you would know God, be not therefore a solver of riddles. In other words, don't try to figure it out. Rather, look about you and you shall see him playing with your children. And look into space and you shall see him walking in the cloud, outstretching his arms in the lightning and descending in the rain. You shall see him smiling in flowers, then rising and waving his hand in trees. My life is my religion. Whatever it looks like, that's it. But I decide. I get to decide what that is. Your life is, whatever the out picturing is, Not just when you come here to Soul Center, or, by the way, all the bakers who bake cookies, it was great down at the warming shelter. Not just when we do something for other people, but every minute of our lives is our religion. If you are to believe Khalil Gibran and Ziggy Marley, two pretty, I don't know how high up on the list those are for you. But also in the scriptures, it says this about life, about what a life is, that life is religion. And this is, I've read this before here because it speaks about preachers. So I kind of fall in that category. And it says, be wary of false preachers who smile a lot, dripping with practiced sincerity. Chances are they are out to rip you off some way or another. Don't be impressed with charisma. Look for character. Who preachers are is the main thing, not what they say. A genuine leader will never exploit your emotions or your pocketbook. In other words, this is saying the same thing. Your character, your life is what it is. Never mind what you say. It really doesn't matter how long you spend on your knees or in meditation. It doesn't matter how much money you give someone. It doesn't matter all those things. What matters is what your life looks like, what someone feels in your presence. If love is your religion, there's your answer. Your life is your religion. What it looks like, what it feels like to other people. Not what you say, not even sometimes what you do in your actions, but more the feeling that you leave people with. Character. Character. That word was mentioned a lot with regards to Jimmy Carter. Someone with character versus charisma in Matthew. Character, the definition is the aggregate of features and traits that form the individual nature of a person. Reputation, your moral force, integrity. So, what does your life, what does your faith demand of you? What does it demand of you? That's the question that I'm asking you this morning. As I was preparing this, I was reading a little bit of news on Port City Daily. I've sworn off the political news of the day. And I came across this obituary that I want to share with you today, because I think it is as instructive as the life of Jimmy Carter, who was 100 years old, as the writings of Khalil Gibran and Ziggy Marley. Let me read you this obituary for James Baker Williams. Beloved son, brother, grandson, friend to many, who died on December 18th at the Sean Jenkins Children's Hospital in Charleston, South Carolina, after a long and courageous battle following his most recent heart surgery. He was 10 years old. He was a 5th grade student at St. Mark Catholic School, where he received an award for excellence in social studies and was given a Certificate of Respect award for always being polite, using his manners, making positive statements, and being respectful toward his teachers as well as his classmates. From a young age, it was evident to many that Baker was an old soul, oftentimes sharing wisdom beyond his years. Baker's spirituality and faith in God was also something to behold in a child so young. He was a loyal and devoted friend, always inclusive and kind-hearted. Whether in the real world or in the digital world, Baker cherished time spent with his buddies, building forts and riding bikes around the neighborhood and playing games. Baker had a wonderfully imaginative mind, always telling stories, building Legos, and creating his own science experiments. With a lifelong love of nature, the marsh and sea creatures, he couldn't wait to become a junior counselor at Camp Chris Stone when he was old enough to do so. Baker's cardiology surgeons called him a prize fighter and a true warrior. In the 3 months he spent in the hospital, he never gave up, courageously and bravely fighting through every challenge. When he was discouraged or frustrated, he would boldly say, "I can do this. I am doing this. I am strong." Even when Baker was tired, sick, and feeling run down, his manners, optimism, and kindness towards others never faltered. He brought joy to other patients and nurses with his impromptu stand-up comedy shows and corny jokes. He never failed to express his true gratitude to every nurse, physician, or therapist who walked into his room. And his courage, kindness, and strength has made an everlasting impact on all who knew him. A few days before he passed, he told us that if he was still in the hospital for Christmas, he wanted to use his new electric juicer that Santa was hopefully bringing to make fresh orange juice and lemonade to give all the doctors and nurses who had to be away from their families on Christmas Day. What is your life demanding of you? What is your faith demanding of you? What is it demanding of me? I think it's accurate that James Baker Williams was an old soul. His life was a picture of his religion as his parents spoke of him. It calls us. We have James Earl Carter Jr., who was 100, and we have James Baker Williams, who was 10. What have they modeled for us? We have Ziggy Marley and Khalil Gibran. What have they given us to consider? You have to decide for yourself. You have to decide what your life demands of you. You have to decide what your spiritual sense is guiding you toward. No one can do it for you. No one can do it for you. You decide what life demands of you. In the last part of Joe Biden's eulogy for Carter, he said this: "At best, we share the better parts of ourselves: joy, solidarity, love, commitment. Not for reward, but in reverence for the incredible gift of life that we've all been granted." Do you hear that? To make every minute of our time here on earth count. That's the definition of a good life, Biden said. It was the life Jimmy Carter lived for 100 years. A good life of purpose and meaning, of character, driven by destiny and filled with faith, hope, and love. The question remains, what does life demand of me? What does my faith demand of me? To make a conscious choice and to live in that direction. Yes? So let's take that into meditation this morning. Take a deep breath in and back out. Get comfortable just for a few moments. And consider these souls that I spoke of, who've given us a gift in their writing, in the vision that they have, in their lives. They've modeled for us and given us some direction and a possibility for us to answer our own question. What does my life demand of me? What does my faith demand of me? Breathing in and breathing out. Let's sit for a few moments together. can separate his faith from his actions, or his belief from his occupation? Who can spread his hours before him, saying, "This is for God and this is for myself. This is for my soul and this other for my body"? Your daily life is your temple and your religion. Whenever you enter into it, take with you your all. Take the plow and the forge, and the mallet and the lute, the things you have fashioned in necessity or for delight. And if you would know God, be not therefore a solver of riddles, but rather look about you, and you shall see him playing with your children. And look into space, and you shall see him walking in the cloud, outstretching his arms in the lightning, and descending in the rain. You shall see him smiling in flowers, and then rising and waving his hands in trees. And amen.
Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds reach by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melody's pure and true, saying, "This is my message to you."
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all be well. May all be peaceful and at ease. May all be happy. See you next week.